So finding a comfortable lying down position. Feet are flat on the ground. And let's just bring our hands onto our ribs and close down through your eyes. Starting with our breath lying onto our back. Taking deep breaths in through your nose. And then exhaling out through your mouth. As you breathe in through your nose, can you start to feel an expansion into your ribs as if they're pushing into your hands? Pause at the top, and on that exhale, feel your ribs draw down and then in towards each other. Keep breathing like this, taking it as an opportunity to check in, to see how you're feeling this morning, in both your body and your mind. And being proud of starting a week with a Pilates class. Make the next breath your deepest and widest breath. Really deep breath in through your nose. Feeling that expansion in through those ribs. Exhale out through your mouth, letting everything go. Gently blink open your eyes. If you've got space, bring your hands out wide to a capital T shape. Otherwise, do a bit of a cactus shape. We're going to start with a spine twist. Your knees and ankles zip together. We're going to knock your knees all the way over towards that left-hand side. Knees kind of find the floor if you can. And then your eye gaze comes over towards that right-hand side. Your whole spine is lifted off. If we can, your shoulders stay planted into that mat. Slowly draw those knees back to center. And then we knock over towards the opposite side. Knees in one direction, head in the opposite direction. Maybe it's not too long since we're lying on our back, so just easing ourselves in. Let's do one more in either direction. Knees come to center, and then knees knock over to the left. Can you really draw those knees over to the left, eye gaze to the right? Palms stay facing up, coming back to center, and then knocking over towards that opposite side. Coming back to center, hug your knees into your chest. Just give yourself a little bit of a rock from side to side, releasing any pressure in that lower back. Feet find the ground, your fingertips are long. We're going to start with our bridge this morning. So I want your fingertips to be long and be able to tap, like kind of tap the back of those heels. Arms stay flat to the ground. We start drawing your lower back into the mat. And we slowly ripple ourselves up to our first bridge. Lower back, middle back, upper back, pausing at that top point position. You're drawing your heels into the ground. Your knees are tracking long and forward in that diagonal angle. Then slowly on that exhale, we ripple down, upper back, middle back, and then eventually your lower back. Let's bring your arms into it. The next time you ripple all the way up, your hands are going to float over those hips. Hold those hips up. We float your hands all the way back behind you. Palms are facing up. Take a deep breath in at this top point. Keep your hands where they are. And on that exhale, we ripple down, upper back, middle back, eventually that lower back, and then your arms reach all the way down and forward. Let's go again. You lift those hips, you lift those arms. Arms keep traveling all the way back behind you until they find the floor. Holding here, then we slowly ripple down. And what those arms have done is they've given us a little bit more space to really find that articulation of the spine. We're trying to ripple up one vertebra at a time. Easing our back into the movement this morning. And really just trying to ease yourself all the way down, especially with that lower back. We want to try and come down one vertebra at a time. Let's make the last one, our last one like this. Reach those hands all the way back overhead, hold. We're really going to slowly lower down for 5, 4, 3, 2, eventually your bum hits, your arms come long. Staying in this shoulder bridge position. We're going to lift those hips up, but this time your arms stay down on the ground. Your right knee's going to lift into tabletop position, knee is over that hip. Can you extend that right leg long so both of your legs are parallel? Bend that knee back in towards your chest. Your right foot comes down, and then you ripple all the way down. Okay, the theme of today is some single leg work. So you're rippling all the way up. Your left knee comes into your chest. You kick that leg long in line with that right leg. Come back into tabletop. Drop that left foot down, and then you ripple down. Okay, so as we lift up, your weight is going to shift slightly over towards that stabilizing leg as we lift the leg up to tabletop. If this feels too much, of course, go back to double leg shoulder bridge. What we're working here is our glutes. So we're starting to engage mainly through that stabilizing glutes. That has to start working really nice and hard, as it's going to keep us lifted all the way up as we go to that single leg. Let's go for 2 more like this. We lift, we bend that leg, we kick that leg long, we bend it in, and then we draw it all the way back down. Final one with that left hand side. We lift all the way up, you reach it long, bend back in, draw it down and lower. Okay, we're going to meet with that right leg lifted. We're going to lift our hips all the way up, hold here. Right knee comes to tabletop. Right leg goes long. Challenge to lift that right leg up towards the ceiling, hold there. You have to ground down through that right foot, think feet in opposite directions. We're going to do small pulses up and down. I want you to feel this in that left stabilizing leg. And it's almost as if you're pressing a button on that ceiling with those right toes, pointing those toes for 4, 3, 2, meet up in that top point. Leg comes back into tabletop, float that right foot down, keep those hips lifted. Let's go over to the opposite side. Left knee into your chest, left leg long, maybe left leg towards the ceiling, hold there. We're grounding down into that right foot as we start to find those pulses with that left leg. Then pressing a button onto the ceiling, pointing through those toes, reaching really tall for 3, 2, hold up on that next one, leg to tabletop, foot comes down, and then melt yourselves all the way down. Just give yourself a bit of a hug, rock from side to side. Starting to warm up through those glutes, through that single leg work. We're going to find that opposite movement with our abs. Your hands come down behind your back, interlace your hands so your thumbs are tracking down your neck. We're going to keep your feet down on the ground together. Inhale to prepare. On that exhale, we're going to find our ab curl. We're going to pop your head, neck, and chest off of the mat. Your eye gaze is just below those knees. And then slowly we release everything down. It's an exhale to lift. And an inhale to lower. Okay, we're keeping that same distance between your chin and your chest the whole time. Think about having a peach underneath your chin. And we don't want it to roll away, and we also don't want to squish it. So we're keeping that same distance. Every time you lift up, you've got an exhale. And inhale as you lower all the way down. Eye gaze comes just below those knees. Okay, we're coming into those tummy, those abdominal muscles. The next time you lift up, can you hold there? Can we reach your fingertips along with energy to graze the outside of your legs? Hands come back behind your head, and then we lower everything back down. So we lift, we extend those arms long, glide back in, hands behind your head, and then we lower. So what we're doing here is we're holding that ab curl slightly longer. As you reach those hands forward, I want you to think about lifting yourself up slightly higher off that mat, getting more engagement in through those abs. You come back in, hands behind your head, and you lower. Keep doing that exhale as you lift. You reach, you glide back in, you tap down. The next time you lift, you reach, you're holding here, if you can. Hands come behind your head, hands reach long. We're keeping that ab curl the whole time. Every time those hands reach forward, I want you to try and find a bit more of a lift into those abs, into that chest. Your eye gaze is forward, it's just underneath those knees. The next time your hands are long, hold here, pause. We're going to do small pulses of those hands up and down. This is your hundreds. We're taking deep breaths in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Every exhale, you're going to glide yourself up slightly further. Think as if you're pushing kind of down two big buttons next to you. We've got 10 more seconds here. Can you lift yourselves higher? Final 5, 4, 3, hold up in 2, 1, hold a moment of stillness. Hands come back behind your head and slowly release yourselves all the way down. Okay, drop your knees over towards the left-hand side, or it can be right. I'm going to do left. Keep your hands behind your head, and we're going to do that book opening, which is going to feel really nice. Your right elbow is going to come and it's going to kiss that left elbow. Think kind of a closed book. Your knees are just stacked one on top of the other. We're going to exhale and we open that right elbow all the way out to the side. My elbow's not touching the ground, but it's that sensation of trying to draw it to the ground. And then slowly close that top elbow all the way back. Okay, this is our book opening. This is really nice to start opening up through that chest, opening up through that mid-back, especially after all of those abs and those bridges. And then release, closing all the way back up. Let's go for 2 more. I thought this is always everyone's favourite move. This is really nice to set us up before the week. Closing that top arm, keep those knees stacked on top of each other as much as you can. The next time you're going to open, you're going to hold there. Think chest to ceiling, elbow dropping to the ground, finding that rotation through those ribs. And then slowly close that top arm all the way back down. We're going to stay on that side, but we're going to be in that sideline position. We're staying in a 90-90 clown, so your knees are stacked on top of each other. Your shins are parallel with the ground, and it's like you're sat on that really stiff wooden chair. Your top right hand is on your hip, and glide those hips away, so you've got a little bit of a gap underneath your lower waist. Okay, hold here. This is your starting position. We're keeping that gap the whole time. Top hand on your hip. Make sure those hips are stacked. We're going to hover that whole top leg off of that bottom leg. Keep that exact position, and then we lower all the way down. This is our 90-90 clown. So what we're doing here is we're going to start coming into that top side glute muscle. If you can't feel it, sometimes it's nice to just put your hand there, and then you should hopefully start to feel those glutes switch on. We're making sure we're not tracking up with that knee or with that ankle. It's that same line the whole time. So I want your top knee to be a mirror image of the bottom. Elbow stays shining up towards the ceiling, and that's going to really help to just keep those hips aligned. Okay, I said got a lot of side legs today, so staying true to my word. Make sure that foot isn't dropping. The next time you lift up, hold there, freeze. Can you tap your knees together and then tap your heels together? We tap your knees and we tap your heels. Okay, this is called, I don't know if I name this, but the meat slicer for obvious reasons. So we really want to feel, I probably didn't name that, but we really want to feel like we're slicing into those glutes. Think big circles from your knees to your heels. You should really be feeling that in your outer glute muscles. For 3, 2, 1, close that leg all the way down. You can have a rub out if you need. We're going to finish off this side. We lift that leg up once more and you kick it out. We bend in and we kick. If we can, we're going to keep that leg lifted. We're not going to tap it down as we bend and we press. Think power all the way out through that heel. Heel is kicking in line with that bum. So it's as if you're kicking a door closed. The next time that leg is long, hold there, freeze. Point through your toes. Your leg is staying long, and we're going to draw small circles of that foot, almost kind of the size of a saucer. or a side plate. Point through those toes, take energy from the crown of your head all the way through those toes. Freeze in space and then start to reverse the direction. To add a challenge, can you lift that leg slightly higher? Maybe make those circles slightly bigger. Hopefully you're feeling this as much as me. If you're not feeling it, make sure you've still got that gap underneath your waist. For 2, 1, drop that knee all the way on top of that bottom leg and give yourself a bit of a slap out. Keep those knees where they are. We're going to push yourself up to a mermaid. So hands come down onto the ground. You push yourself up, and we should be able to get that left foot straight in front, that right knee behind. Okay, this should feel nice. I can already feel a bit of release in that right glutes. Your left hand finds the floor, and your right hand is going to sweep all the way up and over, hold here. You can have a bit of a bend in that bottom hand. You're reaching that top hand along with energy, and think opening out through those ribs. Come back to center. We're going to keep going over towards that side. So we reach up and over to that left. Maybe that left arm glides slightly further from underneath you to get a bit more space. And then you come all the way back up. Let's go for 2 more. Really nice to open up through that side body, open up through those ribs. The next time you're going to just hold there for a second. Generous bend through that elbow, energy through those top hands. And then we're going to find that counter stretch, draw yourself up, that right hand comes down, left hand reaches up and over. This side is going to feel a little bit more sticky than the other side. So just trying to open up through those ribs. Coming back to center, and we're going to find a high kneeling position. Okay, we're going to come into some arms. Elbows are going to come in towards those ribs. Your palms are facing up as if we've got, let's have champagne. We deserve champagne on Monday morning. 2 trays of champagne on our hands. We're going to exhale. You're going to reach your hands long, hands in line with those shoulders, and then you glide those elbows back into your ribs. If this is too much on a high kneeling, you can do it low kneeling or a standing position. I want you to think reaching out with energy. Now, as you reach out, can you start to flip those palms down, flip those palms up and come all the way in? Okay, so I think there's like a lot to be said for lots of arm work without even weights or with really light weights. You can always grab light weights if you want them in your hands. So we reach out, you flip. We draw those elbows in and we come down. So it's like we're tipping out the champagne, unfortunately. Really think energy through those fingertips, energy through those arms. Okay, we've got 3, and we're going to hold out with those arms long. 2. The next time you hold out, pause, hold here. Can we draw small circles of those arms? We're isolating the movement. The only thing that is moving is those arms. Think rotation into the shoulder joint. Okay, by this point, I'm really hoping your arms are starting to feel a bit toasty. If they're not, try and make those circles slightly bigger. You've got a slight squeeze through those glutes to keep your head, ribs, and pelvis aligned. Freeze in space, and can you start to reverse the direction of those circles? We're here for 8, 7, 6, 5. Sneaky, isn't it? 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold out for a final second, and then just have a quick release. Okay, have a quick shake out. We're going to stay in that high kneeling position, and we're going to do our hinges. You stay facing me. I'm just going to reverse to the side so you can see what I'm doing. Your fingertips are going to be long, as if you're kind of holding a beach ball. Head is really nice and tall over that ribs and pelvis. We're slowly going to start keeping that straight line, but hinging that whole body back. And then we hinge ourselves forward. So we come into our quads, you hinge back, keeping that straight line. I gave this in between those hands. We're looking forward towards that beach ball. And then we glide back. We glide down. The lower you go, the more you're going to feel this in those quads. So you're in control of this move. The next time we come down, we're going to add that bow and arrow. So as we come down, can we reach that left elbow to the side? Feel a rotation towards that left side. Reach all the way up, and then we go over towards that right hand side. So we're thinking hinging back. You're finding that rotation. You reach forward. Okay, by finding that rotation, we're coming into a bit of your obliques, your side abdominal muscles. You're going to challenge yourself how low you can hinge back. Really nice. You're looking towards that elbow as you come all the way back. In 4, we're going to hold down. 3, 2. The next time you hold down, hold here. We're going to stay low, but we're just going to do that bow and arrow. We start moving from side to side, really starting to feel this in through your quads. For 4, 3, can you sink a bit deeper? 2, 1, glide yourselves up. Have a bit of a slap down of those thighs. And we're going to find our mermaid on that opposite side. Your right foot is now in front, your left foot is behind. Right hand comes onto the ground, and you slide that right hand away as we reach that left hand up and over. Bend through that bottom elbow. Make sure that top fingertips have energy through them, and then glide all the way back. So if you like this should feel really nice. 2 more. Can you maybe challenge how far you can reach, how much you can bend in that bottom arm? This is just my favorite move in the whole entire world. It just feels so good on the body. It just feels like you're giving your ribs a really nice massage. Holding there, maybe dropping deeper into that elbow. And find that counter stretch. So you come down, left hand finds the ground, right hand reaches up and over. We're going to come to lie on that opposite side. Your right hand is going to track all the way down. Your knees are going to be stacked one on top of the other, and we're going to start with those clams. So make sure that top hand's on that hip, and we're lifting up through that waist to have a gap underneath your lower body. Those shins are parallel with the front of the mat. Keeping everything the same, we just lift that top leg up and lower. Elbow is up towards the ceiling, and I want to make sure we're not kind of clasping through the jaw or that upper body. Everything is relaxed apart from that top leg. Remember, we can bring your hand onto your glute if you're not sure what's working. We're a bit warmer than we were on that last set. Really nice. Have you still got that gap underneath your waist? Are we making sure that leg is completely parallel with that bottom leg? So we're not leading with that knee or the hip. Okay, the next time you're up, hold here. Can we tap your knees together? And then we tap your heels together. Think drawing a really big rainbow, knees towards your hips. I'm hoping you're all going to feel your glutes slightly tomorrow. A release for the rest of the day. Knees come together, big sweep, and your heels come together. Really draw nice and big rainbows. Knees towards your heels. Let's go for 2, 1. Have a quick release. Have a quick tap of that leg. Okay, we're going to come and kick it out. We meet with that leg lifted. Make sure you've still got that gap underneath your waist. We kick that leg out with power, and then you bend it in, just that tabletop position. I want you to press, and then you draw all the way in. Okay, we're really nearly there with this side leg series. Drive that heel back in line with your bum, and then it draws all the way in. Your cue that you come close enough is when your knee bends and you can feel that crease in your little finger. That means you're in tabletop, and then you kick out. Okay, the next time we kick out, hold there, freeze. Point through those toes, we've got those circles. We should really be feeling that in those outer glute muscles. Otherwise, just lift up more through that waist. We're making sure those hips are stacked. Elbow is up towards the ceiling. Freeze in space and let's start reversing the directions of those circles. Think size of a side plate. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for a second. Bend through your knee and give it a really generous tap out. Okay, hands come behind your head. We're going to find that book opening on the other side. Knees stay where they are. Your top left elbow folds on top of that bottom elbow. We start opening your chest all the way up towards the ceiling. This should feel really nice. And slowly close it all the way down. Keep going like this. Remember, your knees are staying stacked one on top of the other. Your chest is opening, your elbow is reaching out to the opposite side. Your eye gaze is following that elbow on the journey. This should feel a little bit sticky into your shoulders, into your neck. And we're finding a little bit of space into that mid-back as well. The next time you reach out, just hold it there for a second. And then slowly draw it all the way back in. Okay, we're going to come to lie onto our backs, and we're just going to do some rolling like a bull to get ourselves up to a seated position. So hands come behind your knees, or hands can come on those shins, and we just start rocking forwards and we start rocking back. Really nice. This should feel quite fun, hopefully. The next time you're up, if you're up, find a cross-legged position. Slowly push yourself into a small ball and hold there. Okay, I know that sometimes sounds easier than it is, so just make your own way to getting into that ball. We're going to find a forward fold. Your head is going to be down. In this forward fold position, I want you to find kind of a sumo squat, so your knees are wide. Okay, we're going to think sumo squat. You're thinking energy through those hands and those fingers. We're going to exhale. I know I need to move my camera. We're going to exhale, reach those hands all the way up. And then sweep all the way down. Keep going through that. Cool. So you sweep all the way up and then glide all the way back and then down. That wasn't the smoothest transition, but here we are. We reach up and then down. I want you to think flushing out through your legs, flushing out through those arms. So that's one. Okay. The next time you hold down, hold there and freeze. Hands come into prayer position. Okay, our knees are wide, your knees are over your ankles. We're going to do a rotation to the left. As we rotate to the left, can you lift up through your left heel? Come back to center, we rotate to the right and we lift up your right heel. Come back to center. This is a bit of a bar move. We're finishing standing today, so we've reversed it. We're finding energy through your body. It's slow and controlled, lower of those hills. It should feel a little bit shaky. Really nice. We're going to find that center position in 3, 2, 1. Find that center position. Can we do those sweeps again? But this time we're going to come all the way up onto your tiptoes and then you melt down. Exhale to lift. Inhale to come down. Really nice. Let's go for final 3. Can you come slightly higher on your tiptoes, feeling your calves, feeling energy through your fingertips. Final 2. Final 1, hold there. Keep your hands up, drop your heels down. Interlace your hands all the way up overhead. Can we rock your hands up and over to one side? Opening up through that side body. Coming back to center. Reaching up and over towards that opposite side. Coming back to center, reach those arms up, just slowly step those feet all the way in. Take a final deep breath, looking up towards those fingertips. Exhale, opens those arms out, around, and down. Shoulders roll back. Shoulders roll forward. Give yourselves a massive smile. Thank you so much for joining me.